A thought I hear a lot is no one understands. And more importantly than a thought that I hear, it's a thought that I see in action. It's a thought that I know people are thinking, even if they're not saying it out loud. And I kind of wanted to work through this thought movement with you on this thought specifically because I think it's really important because this is a thought that hurts so many people. So when I look at this thought and I think, no one understands, there is a period at the end of that phrase, of that thought, and it is keeping me stuck from any progress moving forward. I want to say that with so much love and so much compassion. But if this is a thought that's coming up for you over and over again internally, even if you're not saying it out loud, it is keeping you stuck from so much of your life. The first thing that we do in thought movement is we actually ask questions around that thought. We are going to go to the creative part of our brain. We are going to ask these questions and we're going to look for new perspective when we do that. The first question I have is, how is this thought feeling like protection? So there is a reason why we choose our thoughts and there's a reason why we commit to these thoughts. And it's because one of the reasons is because we make up that it's protecting us. So if I have this thought, no one understands, then I don't have to be disappointed if someone doesn't understand, right? It validates my emotions that I'm feeling. It validates me in my struggle, in my misery. It's like no one understands, so you don't have to explain to anyone. You don't have to do anything about it because you're alone in this struggle. Now, the worst place that you can ever be in a struggle is truly alone. And this thought isolates you from everyone. The second question I would ask is, how is this thought hurting me? This thought is hurting me because it is isolating me. It isn't giving me different perspective. I've lost compassion for other people because they don't understand how hard this is. They don't understand how hard my life is, which means I stop looking to see the suffering or the hard that's going on around me. Next question I would ask is, how is this thought a pattern in my life? Now, here's the thing about thoughts is they typically come up in patterns. So we are looking for proofs of these thoughts, these patterns all the time. We're looking around and saying see, yep, no one understands. See, no one understands. See, no one understands. If you get really clear and honest with yourself, you can probably go way far back and see how this has continued to show up for you as a thought over and over again. And our job here in thought movement is that we are becoming aware of this thought so that we can actually change the thought and change the results of our life. The question is, whose voice am I hearing in this thought? Now, this could be your own voice. It could be your mother's voice, your father's voice, a friend's voice, a bully's voice. It could be someone that you don't even want to take advice from. It could be someone who was not compassionate to you and they're like, I don't understand what you mean, right? Maybe they truly didn't understand, but you've taken this and you've made it so much bigger than what it is. And the question to that is do I want this voice to be in my head? Is this a voice I actually want to hear? Is this a voice I want to lead me into my emotions and to my actions? And typically when we're in this place of struggle, we're not listening to the voice that we actually want to. Another question that I would ask is, what is this thought robbing from me? These thoughts are stealing pieces of our lives. They're stealing joy. They're stealing confidence. They're stealing activity. They're stealing connection. And it's important for us to see actually clearly what they're robbing us from so that we can weigh in to see if it's something that we want to keep giving up to this singular thought that is coming in our mind over and over again. Next, we can move to the emotion of that thought. The thought of no one understands me. It is, I feel alone. I feel sad. I feel isolated. I feel depressed. I feel frustrated, right? But I also feel secure in this thought, just knowing and believing that no one understands me. So then we go down to the moves, and the moves that we make from here is basically nothing. We are resentful towards other people. We might be frustrated. We might be annoyed. We might withdraw from social situations. We probably react rather than respond. We tend to stop progression in our lives when we believe that no one understands because we are stuck in this victimhood of no one understands, no one can relate to me. And it might be true that no one has been in your exact situation, but it also takes you to a place from sadness and feeling the true emotions of your situation, but it actually takes you and keeps you stuck in the thought more than actually the reality of what's going on around you. So then we want to ask all those questions, answer all those questions, and we want to develop a new thought. And the reason why we want to develop a new thought is because this is where the awareness comes in and says, I see what this thought is doing to me and how it's making me feel and what action I'm taking, what moves I'm making from this thought, and I want something new. And one thing that's really important is that you actually have to want the change in order for this to work. But I think even just doing the work alone of seeing it on paper, seeing the visual of this, at least going to show you what's going on. A new thought that I kind of came up for this is everyone's circumstances are different, and there is joy and suffering in all. And it's a true statement because it is absolutely true that each of our situations are different, but there is joy and there is suffering in every single situation. And that the previous thought kept me stuck in the suffering, and that's not where I want to live my life. And so knowing that every circumstance is different and there is joy and suffering in all circumstances gives me kind of a new perspective for a minute. And so after I've answered those questions and I go over and I write this new thought, then I say, okay, how does that make me feel? How does it make me feel to know that each of our circumstances are different and everyone is going through things that feel really great and things that feel really horrible? Well, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm not alone in my suffering. Maybe my circumstance is different, but maybe I'm not alone. So maybe I'm more connected. Maybe I can be more connected than I have been. Maybe I can be more compassionate towards other people because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, you're hurting too. Like I was so stuck in my suffering and my hurt that I was angry, that I was like paying attention to only what I was experiencing. I'm sorry I didn't notice that. And I can connect in a new way and I can have compassion for people around me. Maybe there is opportunity like, whoa, that person is going through joy and sadness and they are moving forward in their life. So maybe I feel some hope for the first time. Maybe I feel like, how could my life look? There's some creativity that's coming into play where it's like, I could do something new. And that doesn't mean that my suffering is going to go away or the sadness that I'm feeling, but it's like there's joy and suffering in all circumstances. Those new emotions give me like, what do I want to do? Maybe I want to make sure I'm going to lunch with friends. Maybe I want to write a gratitude journal. Maybe I want to let go of the anger that I was feeling that was keeping me in this thought loop of no one understands me, right? Maybe I want to develop this new confidence in myself that I know how to get through hard things. So I'm actually going to address those hard points of my life head on and move forward because I know I'm capable of it. Maybe I want to help someone else through this really hard thing. So there's new moves and actions that I'm going to take from this new place of seeing a different perspective. This is a simplified version. It is quick and fast, but I know that this framework is impactful because it helps us tap over into the awareness side of our brain, the creative part of our brain that gives us new opportunities for something different to happen, for us to think different and believe different and to feel different so that we make different decisions in our life that improve our lives for the better. What thought do you have keeping you stuck?